Continuing from the previous episode 2020. Giggle. Looking at the awkward atmosphere in the field, Zunar frowned slightly, covering her seductive red lips with her slender jade hand, and laughed. What are you laughing at? Be more serious. Seeing this, Xiaoyan said solemnly. Oh. When Zunar heard this, she laughed even more happily, as if she hadn't seen Xiaoyan like this for a long time. I've never seen Brother Xiaoyan look like this. The red lips were quietly close to Xiaoyan's ears, and a burst of hot air accompanied by bursts of seductive fragrance passed to Xiaoyan's ears. Cough, cough, cough. Seeing this, Xiaoyan couldn't help coughing a few times. In the past, I was the one who was sorry for Zunar's Saint Daughter. Now that the catastrophe of the ancients is imminent, I hope that Saint Daughter can help us tide over the difficulties regardless of the past. Our ancient clansmen are willing to bow their heads and serve as ministers, and Saint Lady Jian is the new patriarch. After the rest, a rather old elder in the crowd brought many core elders behind him and bowed to the two of them at the same time. Bends down and bows his head, his body and feet are at a 90-degree level, with a serious and dignified style. Great gift from the ancients. This is a true etiquette that only the patriarch of the ancient clan can afford. Father, teacher, Brother Xiaoyan, look. After Shun breathed, Zunar's beautiful eyes flickered, and there was a trace of reluctance in her heart, and she hurriedly cast her gaze towards the three of them. You decide. Xiaoyan smiled. I promise you. But if any clan members disobey my orders, they will be dealt with according to the clan rules. After blinking, behind Zunar, a golden flame golden crow opened its eyes like gods, and looked at everyone from a bird's eye view. There is no doubt that a strong attitude of contempt and pride is displayed. This is? 9 profound Chongming flames? Zunar Patriarch Shengming. Looking at the golden flame golden crow in front of him, the worries of all the elders behind disappeared, and they couldn't help being convinced. At that time, all the powerhouses in the ancient prison, including nearly 90% of the soul body of the entire ancient clan, will all be led by Zunar. Organize the team, evacuate the ancient prison as soon as possible, and leave some strong people on guard. As the elder of the ancient clan, notify the major powerhouses in the vassal city to cover the army to the ground. Call all the powerhouses above 8 stars to discuss the final battle against the core of the ancient clan. Quote. Orders were issued from Zunar in an orderly manner. It has to be said that this kind of daring and magnificent handwriting gave Xiaoyan a new understanding of Zunar. When did this girl become so powerful? Seeing Zunar issuing orders so majestic, and no one dared to disobey, Xiaoyan also smiled gratified. Hey, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This girl is much more tyrannical than you think. A long time ago, I heard Zunar say that his Ruyi Langjun is an unparalleled hero. When I see him today, he really deserves his reputation. Peerless Heavenly Emperor turned his head and looked at Xiaoyan with admiration. Not to mention other things, Xiaoyan's feat of breaking into the evil ancient prison alone. I am afraid not many people dare to do it. The two are really talented and beautiful, and they are a match made in heaven. In one day, the army in the ancient prison was transferred in an orderly manner, and it was a secret transfer. In order not to expose the target, Zunar and Xiaoyan rarely had some spare time at this time, and the two ran to a meadow on the edge of the vassal city at the same time. Lie flat on top. Waiting for the transfer of the army to complete, the final battle will start completely. What is this? Evil spirit? But it has some power like a pattern. Is it an illusion? Xiaoyan lay quietly on the grass, and when he scratched it at random, he found a rare black ink-colored energy. Brother Xiaoyan, did you do it on purpose just now? After taking a breath, the void wriggled, Zunar's slender hand covered Xiaoyan's eyes, and immediately said indignantly. Just now, he clearly wanted to let the ancient powerhouses take Xiaoyan as the master, but Xiaoyan pushed it directly to him, which made Zunar feel a little angry in his heart. Duty continent is divided into 4 parts. I have integrated 3 continents and established the endless fire territory. The Doyan continent here is the most difficult one, and for the ancients, I believe you are more suitable than me. Xiaoyan said that putting away the things, he immediately looked at the people around him. He naturally saw Zunar's careful thoughts, raised his finger and pointed at the Chong nose between Zunar's eyebrows, showing a very loving appearance. Is Sister Kaylin okay? I heard that she is helping you manage the endless fire territory. After a while, Zunar lay quietly in Xiaoyan's arms, pouting and whispering. "Don't worry." Xiao Yan didn't say more, his palm gently followed Zunar's 3000 blue silk, and his soft voice was quite quiet. "Patriarch, my lord, everything is ready, just wait for the two of you to be seated." After a few minutes, a voice transmission of the soul was accurately transmitted to Zunar. "Let's go." Xiao Yan got up and stretched, and said lazily, "I miss Shaolin and the others a bit. After waiting here, let's go home and have a look, okay?" Looking at the huge city in the distance, Zunar smiled slightly, but under the smile, it was a mother's thoughts. "Child's cut, okay." Xiao Yan nodded heavily. He also missed Shaolin and Xiao Xiao quite a bit. After a while, the two turned into meteors and headed towards the conference room in the city. Jiyu Qingkong is in charge. Just when he came to the conference room, looking at Peerless Heavenly Emperor and Jiyu Qingkong, Xiao Yan glanced at them. "Master Xiao Yan, Patriarch Xuan, come to the table." Jiyu Qingkong warmly greeted him. "Since you are all here, why is Zunar not beating around the bush? Now our ancient clan is facing an unprecedented disaster. The entire interior has been eroded by the evil clan outside the territory, and the core of the ancient clan is controlled by the evil clan outside the territory. The disaster of the ancient prison was solved by luck. Today, we should directly pursue the core of the ancient clan, take over the ancient clan, and slaughter all the evil clan outside the territory." Zunar said, "I agree with the Patriarch's point of view." A group of elder souls nodded and said, "The rest is the opinion of the major powerhouses who control the cities where the vassal races live. After all, the power in their hands cannot be underestimated. Sir Xiao Yan, you are kind to me, and we would like to agree with you and Zunar Patriarch's opinion. However, when you went deep into the ancient prison, we found some strange things here." Jiyu Qingkong and Jiyu Yang, two representatives at the same time when he opened his mouth, there was an unspeakable hiddenness in his voice. "What's weird? Could it have something to do with the tiny holes in your neck and neck?" Xiao Yan frowned when he heard this, as if he had thought of something. "Sure enough, you can't escape your worries, Lord. When you left, we took a risk to investigate and try to eliminate this tiny hole, but in exchange, a strong person turned into pus, unable to cure, and finally disappeared. And this tiny hole is actually the center of the extraterritorial evil race to mobilize the power of our souls, and it is also a special kind of poison. Extracting the soul body was done by the strong man in the ancient prison, in order to turn us into nourishment for demon babies, and this tiny hole is the work of the heartbroken demon at the core of the ancient clan. This is a poison and a balm, because he can control our mind and body through this tiny hole. If we violate his orders, we will be dissipated in an instant. And I have checked that in the entire vassal city, all human beings are planted with such tiny holes. Small holes and pores are generally small, painless and itchy, and I don't know when it was planted. And once it is within 1,000 miles of the core land wrapped by the gray enchantment of the ancient sky, even our 8-star Do immortal level powerhouses will also be controlled by their minds and become a real walking corpse." Jiyu Yang and Jiyu Qingkong shook their heads and said, their eyes blurred. Obviously, this kind of information was tested by them using a lot of human lives. As soon as the voice fell, the audience was silent. Obviously, no one thought that things would be so serious. Genius remembers the address of this site in 1 second. Mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 2021. It won't. Is that serious? There was silence in the huge conference room for a while, and after a while, Xiao Yan looked at Jiyu Yang and the two with extremely solemn eyes and asked, "If it is true as the two said, I am afraid that this ancient catastrophe will still be a huge problem. If there is no strong man in these cities to take action, I am afraid that their odds of winning are less than 10%, or even lower. If the Patriarch and the Elders have a solution, we old bones will be willing even if they die in battle, but if there is no solution, for the faith of these vassal races behind the ancients and their lives, I am afraid we will all fight this time. I can't participate, and please forgive us for our last resort." Jiyu Yang, Jiyu Qingkong and the representatives of several other cities shook their heads at the same time, and said quite guiltily, "Saying such things is a last resort. It's not that they are greedy for life and fear of death. It's just that this kind of death is not clear, and it's even more embarrassing, and there are millions of huge vassal people behind them. In the background, it is impossible for them to fight for the core of the ancient clan. Damn it. Peerless Heavenly Emperor heard the words, his eyes were very solemn. This kind of thing was unheard of, and there was nothing to do for a while. Can there be any strange changes in the ancient world? Xiao Yan also knew that the overall situation had been decided, and immediately did not continue to struggle with this issue. Now that the war is imminent, there is no time to go to find the antidote and the solution, and we can only rely on their army of strong souls. Seeing Xiao Yan's questioning, the hearts of many strong people in the entire conference room were tense, and they couldn't think of why Xiao Yan would ask such a question. Speaking of which, when we went to investigate the tiny holes, we found a lot of evil powers of the alien races on the ground and in the void of the ancient world, and there seemed to be extremely complicated patterns between them. It seems that this is the case in the ancient world. Ji Yu Qingkong nodded. Well, then it's all right. Xiao Yan heard that, in order to prevent these guys from discovering his concerns, he could only smile slightly. Combining with the traces of evil power he found on the grass with Zuner just now, only Xiao Yan knew in his heart. I am afraid that this ancient world has been completely blocked by that king. Quote. Seeing this, the others also looked at each other in dismay. There was no solution, so they had no choice but to remain in a stalemate. I'm afraid this final battle would be the most dangerous. On the other side, the core of the ancient world's sky is covered by a gray evil fog. This is the core place where the ancient people live, the ancient city of the sky. The ancient world is the base of the entire ancient clan, and the ancient world is divided into two parts, the ground and the sky. The ground is a city where millions of vassal races live. As for the sky, there is a magnificent building called the ancient city of the sky. This is the core place where the core members of the ancient clan lived and practiced daily and dealt with the affairs of the ancient world. Wrapped in a gray and evil mist, the interior cannot be seen from the outside at all. At this time, the ancient city of the sky has turned into an evil place, which is extremely gloomy, and its danger is no less than the original Senluo hell in the ancient prison. Woo la la! A stench of stench came from the nostrils, and the entire sky city was now filled with a rather oppressive blood red. The city of the sky is very large, occupying 1,000 miles of void. There are many silver buildings, fighting skills pavilions, martial arts training grounds, conference rooms and so on. There is a day of milky white stone steps in the center, which connects to the top of the city in the sky. There is a huge mansion where the patriarchs of the past dynasties lived. Master, Blood King Mo and others have already failed. In a quiet garden at the top of the sky city, at a pavilion, two men appeared here, and one of them said in a low voice, Ji Yu Yuan, what do you think I'm doing with this painting? Seeing the man in front of him speak out, the figure sitting in the pavilion painting stretched out the scroll on the desk and laughed. The sea of blood that shakes the sky is a masterpiece. Ji Yu Yuan said with a smile. Blood King Mo, it's okay to fall, but an 8-star fighting immortal is successful. This is also a great loss for our entire army. Ji Yu Yuan, you know the ancient clan the most. What do you think you should do now? The painting man got up, his eyes trembled, and a breath as deep as the sea swept out. Master, although the ancient prison has been liberated, the bodies of those elders are controlled by us, which can greatly contain their soul bodies, and we have already controlled all the powerhouses in the entire ancient clan. As long as you give an order next, this place will evolve into our home. Even your evil tools have been spread across the ground and the void of the ancient world according to your instructions. Ji Yu Yuan said with an evil face, his voice extremely evil. You are right, but in this case, those guys won't have any room for resistance, and the whole thing will become meaningless. Xie Mei's scholar said with a slight smile, with a rare madness in his voice. What do you mean, master? Ji Yu Yuan was puzzled and could only ask. I'm just a scholar. I'm not murderous like the Blood King Mo. I'm a literati and a writer. I love killing people without a trace. Because that is an art that is above all things. There is no art at all in a game that must be won. Prepare. Since the evil tools have been brewed, I will give them a chance. As for whether they can seize this last chance, it depends on them. The evil spirit scholar spoke coldly, and the chessboard hidden under the picture scroll trembled slightly. But master, if we fail, I'm afraid we won't be able to communicate with the several evil gods. Our purpose is the Holy See and the 7 ancient clans. Ji Yu Yuan looked like a staff officer, worried. Art can't be desecrated. I don't care about them. After all, I finally got a great opportunity to see perfect art. The evil scholar said with a trembling smile. Yes, master. Koyuan heard the words without hesitation, turned around and walked towards the city of the sky, mobilized the army, and prepared to listen to the instructions of the evil scholar. For decades, Koyuan and others have been completely controlled by the evil spirit scholar, and now I am afraid that only the last trace of the source is left to resist, if there is no timely treatment for some time, even if the angel comes, to no avail. At that time, the core elders of these ancient clans will all be wiped out, and they will all turn into real foreign evil clans. However, this so-called evil and charming scholar is different from any previous king of evil tribes from outside the realm. For him, Qin, chess, calligraphy and painting are the means he is quite proficient in, and what he pursues in his life is the highest art of killing the invisible. For him, carnage-like situations are nothing compared to perfect art. Art is death, but how to die is the most perfect art. In order to see and pursue this kind of perfect art, even if he devotes his life, he will do it. For a time, at the core of the entire ancient clan, a strong man like a corpse was ready to go. Their strength was extremely tyrannical, and there were dozens of 8-star fighting immortals. In addition, Koyuan, who vaguely touched the reincarnation, this in the first battle. If it was a head-on battle, I am afraid that Xiaoyan and the others would not have any chance. Unfortunately, the supreme art pursued by the evil and charming scholars has ruined this win-win situation in vain. Seed. Genius remembers the address of this site in 1 second. Mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 2022. One day passed in a blink of an eye. The next day, when the sun fell, the entire ancient world ushered in an unprecedented disaster. Boom! A loud bang accompanied by the thick evil aura fell from the sky, like a galaxy falling into the mortal world. The feeling came to him, making him uneasy. What kind of power is this? Is it the end of the world? Millions of people raised their heads one after another and looked at the ancient city in the sky. A smear of black ink continued to shake and spread, and they became panicked in an instant. Among these vassal people, most of them are mediocre in strength. If there are people with extraordinary talents, they have already been recruited by the ancient powerhouses. What's going on? With the appearance of these shocking visions, Xiaoyan and the other high-level officials came forward directly, looking solemnly at the ancient city of the sky. The ancient city of the sky has been closed for a long time, and now it is about to appear in the world. Peerless Heavenly Emperor took the lead, his eyes were fixed on the void above, and his voice was serious. Bang bang bang! A loud noise continued to sound, and in a short while, the whole picture of the ancient city in the sky was reflected in everyone's heart. Patriarch Zuner, the common people are already on the move. With the help of the city stewards, we don't have to worry at all. Now the evil and enchanting scholar is the enemy in front of us. Behind him, powerful souls rushed out, and tens of thousands of huge scenes slowly shook the sky. However, among these guys, there are only a few who specialize in cultivating the power of the soul. The other strong people have no physical support, and their strength will be greatly reduced if they only rely on the soul to fight. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's alright, it's me. Seeing Zuner's beautiful eyes flashing with an unusually solemn brilliance, Xiaoyan pulled Zuner with his palm and smiled. Zuner heard the words, and the corners of her eyes were also moved. It seemed that as long as she was by Xiaoyan's side, she would feel quite at ease. Let's go meet this so-called evil and charming scholar. Xiaoyan took Zuner and took the lead into the sky, directly facing the slowly emerging ancient city in the sky. Follow. This time, even if we go through fire and water, we must ensure the safety of the Patriarch and Lord Xiaoyan. The mighty army of souls behind them formed a mighty sea of souls, following behind Xiaoyan and the others. Zhu, the ancient city in the sky, which was enveloped by the black ink-colored evil power, suddenly spread out, and a circle of extremely evil energy tides spread out everywhere. Be careful. Seeing this, Xiaoyan wrinkled his nose, and 5 colored holy flames swept out from his body, turning into a flame barrier that could cover the world and protect countless spiritual bodies behind him. Dong dong dong! The flame barrier and the energy tide melted perfectly, and did not bring about other energy fluctuations. Is this the ancient city in the sky? It's so quiet, like a dead silence, without a bit of vitality. Everyone came to the air and stopped a few hundred meters away from the ancient city of the sky, and they could smell the blood in the ancient city of the sky from a long distance. But the city is clean and terrifying. Welcome to the ancient city of the sky, come up. Just as Xiao Yan and the others hesitated, a rather frivolous voice of a scholar emerged. Suddenly, the ancient city of the sky that stood in the sky changed. At the bottom of the ancient city of the sky, a 100-meter wide cloud chain spread straight down toward the ground. The cloud chain seems to be refined from chalcedony with a flawless texture. Its whole body is crystal clear, but it is more clean and tidy than milky white clouds in the sky. Squeak! As soon as the cloud chain reached the ground, a sound like a machine suddenly emerged, and it was completely fixed. After a while, the cloud chain directly transformed and opened, and one after another cloud ladder appeared in front of everyone. The cloud ladder is directly connected from the ground to the bottom of the ancient city in the sky. There are countless faint star patterns engraved on it, and the silver is bright and dazzling. It seems that the ancient city of the sky has been completely fallen, and our bodies, including the old patriarch Koyuan, may be in danger. No one was seen, just listening to the voice and the current scenery, a soul elder sighed behind him. Go! Xiao Yan released the dazzling amber rock soul fire all over his body, and immediately took Zuner to step directly into the cloud ladder, heading towards the ancient city of the sky. Follow up. The tens of thousands of soul body powerhouses behind the peerless heavenly emperor ruler, with a single order, gathered into a dazzling halo and slowly walked towards the ancient city in the sky. At the same time, suspended at the bottom of the ancient city of the sky, a huge square that stretches out as far as the eye can see emerges. The square is quite clean and tidy, but in the center, 24 black and ink-colored stone pillars are divided into 2 columns. Lined up neatly from left to right, the stone pillars are engraved with traces of complex lines, which makes people feel frightened at first glance. Obviously, these 24 stone pillars are absolutely no trivial matter. This is the ancient clan square. It is the place where the ancient clan announced some important events. It is also quite heavy among the ancient clan, but I remember that there have never been such strange 24 stone pillars in the past. Zuner beside Xiao Yan, he quietly opened his mouth. Obviously he was extremely puzzled now. What's going on? After a while, hundreds of soul bodies poured into the ancient clan square. Most of these guys are soul bodies of the core members of the ancient clan with 7-star fighting spirit or above, and they are also the last proof of Xiao Yan and others. Hundreds of souls filled the edge of the ancient square, and the remaining strong men stood slowly under the cloud ladder, ready to be called at any time, but the entire ancient square was quiet and terrifying at a glance, and only the 24 stone pillars standing in the center of the square stood out, and everyone's eyes flickered, staring at the evil stone pillars, and the soul body couldn't help trembling slightly. Boom! With a sound, the 24 stone pillars in the center of the square shook abruptly, and a series of steps slowly emerged, which forcibly lifted these evil stone pillars to the ground. After the Senran stairs appeared, an evil altar shape was slowly formed in the center of the entire square, surrounded by dozens of black stone steps. In the center of the altar, 12 stone pillars were neatly symmetrical on the left and right, and below the stone pillars, there were 2 thrones. Slightly gushing out, one black and the other white, the 2 thrones emerged in a posture of looking down on the overall situation, like the real master of this world. Welcome to the ancient city of Tianxia. Suddenly, on the black throne, a man wearing ink-colored clothes, his black hair was coiled in a neat crown on the top of his head, and his delicate face was quite soft and white. Jia's hands moved from time to time, revealing a scholarly atmosphere all over his body. On his clothes, the black ink-colored lines showed an unprecedented terrifying evil force. As soon as his voice came out, the entire sky was completely quiet, and even behind the black throne around him, a sinister figure was like a servant, humbly and prostrate. Genius remembers the address of this site in 1 second. Mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 2023. Evil Scholar. Xiao Yan's body suddenly trembled, and he stood directly in front of Zuner, covering up the monstrous evil aura that was coming towards him. Welcome to all of you. The evil and charming scholar smiled lightly, and actually got up from the black throne, and immediately bowed his head to Xiao Yan and the others below, with a bookish look, Where is there a trace of the king of the evil race from outside the realm? Horror vision. This guy. Peerless Heavenly Emperor and Xiao Yan looked at each other. The pressure in their hearts increased greatly. It seems that this guy's wisdom is much more arrogant than Blood King Mo. He and Blood King Mo are also in the 8-star Do Xian consummation rank. With this amazing wisdom, I am afraid that the evil and charming scholar is the real scourge. Scholar Xie Mei, you have occupied the core of my ancient clan for decades. Today, we have brought the elite of the ancient clan back. Zunar's lithe voice was particularly pleasant, and it contained a divine aura that purifies all things. Let the body of the soul behind him shake. He, Gu Yuan, it seems that among your ancient clan, there are also some good seedlings. Since that's the case, then it's up to you to treat them well. Seeing Zunar's attitude, Xie Mei's scholar was not in a hurry. Sitting on the black throne, he didn't know when there was a feather fan on his palm. Gently inciting, quite enjoying, as if waiting for something. Strange, what is that? There are 12 stone pillars on the left and right opposite each other, and the altar is clearly defined on the left and right. There seems to be something in the center of the two thrones. Xiao Yan's soul power spread out and sensed it away, but after resting, he returned without success. Yes, master. A quiet answer sounded, and then the figure behind the black throne suddenly jumped off the altar, the black robe on his body faded, and a face that was very familiar to the strong people present emerged. Patriarch Gu Yuan, how could it be? Looking at the familiar faces after the black robes were removed, hundreds of ancient powerhouses, including the peerless Heavenly Emperor, said in unison. The middle-aged man in front of him had a terrifying aura that stood proudly on his body, slowly filling his body, but now the evil black light surging in his eyes, without a trace of humanity, has been completely controlled by the evil scholar. It's really despicable. Seeing this, Xiao Yan couldn't help but cursed secretly. Susu, Gu Yuan is one of my most beloved arts, but don't let me down. After all, that's the only way to watch it. The evil scholar pretended to be a mysterious smile. It seems that in his eyes, the power of Xiao Yan and others now is like ants, and he is the real master of this world. Existence is just born to witness the perfect art, and it is their supreme honor to witness and become a part of the perfect art. Defeat me, and you will be qualified to challenge my king. Otherwise, die. With a cold snort, circles of black evil light burst out like dark clouds on Gu Yuan's body, and the power contained in it had a faint incomprehensible fluctuation. That is the fluctuation of reincarnation. Demon Emperor. Seeing such a terrifying dark cloud of energy, Xiao Yan didn't dare to hold back any of his hands. The fire-type fighting core in his body tumbled violently, and countless fighting chi spewed out, forming 1,000 Zhong-sized Demon Emperor above everyone's heads. Afterimage, trying to resist the blow. Kacha! The black cloud fell quietly like a star river, and even when it came into contact with Xiao Yan's Demon Emperor's celestial appearance, there was no obstruction, and cracks emerged from the afterimage of the Demon Emperor. Will fall apart completely. Damn! Feeling Gu Yuan's random blow, Xiao Yan's pressure increased greatly, and his body was directly shaken upside down, and the holy flame in his hand squirmed, trying to dissolve this terrifying power. Shadow of the Golden Crow. Zunar frowned slightly, quite distressed, and the Golden Crow fire shadows circled out, directly meeting the afterimages of the shattered Demon Emperor, and the two joined forces to take Gu Yuan's blow. The patriarch of the ancient clan is actually a complete powerhouse of the 8-star Do Xian who touches the cycle of reincarnation. Xiao Yan waved his hand, and 5 colored flames swarmed out. Although the body trembled, the blood of the Xiao family became hot, and the clan lines on the eyebrows slowly sounded, and a touch of strength enough to compete with Gu Yuan was slowly brewing. Patriarch Gu Yuan has already touched Samsara, and now he is under the control of the evil scholar, I'm afraid. Peerless Heavenly Emperor and Gu Yuan looked at each other and said doubtfully, Brother Gu Yuan, the command of the army will be handed over to you. Me, Xiao Yan and Zunar must join forces to deal with Patriarch Gu Yuan, then there is a chance of life. After a while, Peerless Heavenly Emperor said with a solemn expression, but now, he can only bite the bullet. Okay. Gu Yuan nodded slightly when he heard the words, now that he is weak, but commanding the army is easy for him. I'll be the main attack in a while, and Zunar's patriarch will defend, so Lord Xiaoyan will just wait for the opportunity. The peerless heavenly emperor can only say the same thing now. Okay. Zuner bites her silver teeth, her body undulates violently, her slender hands tightly tug at the corner of her clothes, and even the reincarnation mark between her eyebrows flickers slightly, revealing an endless divine aura. Don't use that kind of power, do you hear me? Xiaoyan took a deep breath, and immediately said to Zuner in a stern voice. He naturally knew what was going on in this little girl's head. But now is an extraordinary time. At this moment, Zuner did not have the soft words of the past, but instead started arguing with Xiaoyan. Now Jiyu Yuan is too strong. Even if the three of them join forces, the odds of winning are less than 10%, not to mention the evil and charming scholars who are eyeing tigers and countless evil people hidden in the ancient city of the sky. Zuner has the reincarnation of the Fire Master of Juzan. If you force the reincarnation, it will be enough to temporarily have the power to compete with Jiyu Yuan, but Zuner knows that she has just obtained the reincarnation seal, and it is not yet unstable. Once it is used, I am afraid that Juzan will the reincarnation of the Fire Lord will fail completely, and he will also face a lot of backlash. After all, the reincarnation mark on Zuner's body is not like Duo Chifei's precipitation over time. Trust me, Brother Xiaoyan has never let you down. So this time, you can trust me. Okay, but if you have any crisis, I will not hesitate to trigger samsara, even if it is the last burning samsara. Because I'm your wife. Zuner nodded solemnly and said righteously. Don't worry, leave it to me. Xiaoyan also smiled comfortably, but he could smell a genuine tenderness from Zuner's voice and solemn appearance. Obviously, she was not just talking. The killer's trump card failed. I'm afraid Zuner will really be like this. That kind of action and price is obviously not something Xiaoyan can bear. For a time, Xiaoyan clenched his fist tightly, and a rare power slowly lingered out of his body. How powerful! That is the unique power of the descendants of the Xiao family, and it is also a power that can only be used by people of the Xiao family. Fortunately, at some special time, Xiaoyan awakened and successfully opened it up. Now a strong enemy has emerged, and the restlessness of the blood has finally made Xiaoyan. I discovered the power of the Xiao clan pattern between my eyebrows. Genius remembers the address of this site in 1 second. Mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 2024. Don't be so dawdling with mother-in-law and mother. If you are ready, then come to die obediently. Jiyu Yuan stepped out, and the surrounding void shattered instantly, and the monstrous evil power was like a curtain of sky, suppressing everyone present. He could have directly killed the three with the power of crushing, but in order for the evil scholar to enjoy and pursue that perfect art, this scene has just happened. Go! Seeing this, Xiaoyan snorted coldly, and immediately took the lead. Jiyu Yuan's strength is unfathomable, but Xiaoyan is still ready to test its truth, so that he can decide what means to use to suppress him. Shabu Shabu. As soon as the voice fell, Xiaoyan, Zuner and peerless heavenly emperor, the dazzling flames around their bodies were shining brightly, and the speed was as fast as a ghost. The fierce offensive in their hands was undoubtedly displayed, and they came to Jiyu Yuan's body in an instant. The attacks of the three people are all in the category of immortal arts. Obviously, to deal with a strong man like Jiyu Yuan, there is no need to warm up. Once you come, you must use your real skills, otherwise they will lose very quickly. No phase slash. Xiaoyan took the lead, and when he came to Jiyu Yuan's body, he let out a low roar. The holy pattern on the ancient ruler shone brightly, and an invisible energy ripple slowly poured out. Dang dang dang. It seemed that Xiaoyan's full-strength blow did not cause any substantial damage to Jiyu Yuan, only blowing his clothes and moving a tiny distance. Gotcha! Jiyu Yuan stretched out his palm and suddenly grabbed at the void. Xiaoyan's phaseless slash attack was instantly broken, and the shocking force made Xiaoyan's figure unstable, and he was quite embarrassed in the void. Glide in it. It's a good fire of holy flame. Why don't you give it to me? Deciphering Xiaoyan's attack at will, Jiyu Yuan sarcastically said to Xiaoyan. His greed fluctuated without a doubt. 6 crows shining on the sun. Seeing this, Zuner's heart was eager, and a coquettish shout emerged. The golden light all over the body was prosperous, and countless golden lights turned into flame spirits. After the blink of an eye, 6 sacred flame golden crows formed behind them. Only the Golden Crow carries the extremely sacred holy flame fire pattern, which burns the entire void like rounds of scorching sun, and a trace of hidden throbbing fills the entire sky. Crash! Under Zunar's exquisite control, the 6 Golden Crows roared away at Koyuan in an orderly manner. They stretched their wings, and countless sacred scorching auras were revealed, gathering infinite golden flames like a sun. As dazzling, he moved towards Koyuan's suppression. Humph! Ancient fairyland. Koyuan didn't dare to take it lightly when he saw this. After all, this is the top 10 holy flames. Even if Zunar has just acquired his inheritance, he has less than 1/10 of his power. Crash! Countless ice crystals emerged from Koyuan's body, and traces of white cold air emerged, forming extremely cold ice flowers around him. Among the ice flowers, countless petals bloomed first, and the bone-chilling chill swept the entire square, causing the temperature here to drop suddenly. Bang bang bang! The ice crystal ice flower and the 6 Golden Crows touched gently. The dazzling golden light was extremely strong, and instantly crushed all the ice crystal petals. The top 10 holy flames on the holy flame list were so terrifying. Frozen for me. Koyuan snorted coldly as he looked at the 6 tyrannical Golden Crows. The surrounding void suddenly collapsed, and boundless demonic chi gushed out, cooperating with the power of extreme ice in his body and stalemate. A moment later, the terrifying confrontation between the two emerged at the same time, turned into mists, and gently dissipated on the square. At first glance, it was a draw. Are you all right? As soon as the attack fell, Zunar's body rose and fell violently. It was obvious that the 6 Golden Crows had just been used to carry a heavy load on him. A trembling couldn't help but retreated backwards, and his figure was unstable. At this time, Xiaoyan appeared quietly and put his arms around him. Living on Zunar's willow waste, he said solemnly. It's okay. Zunar nodded, but his eyes were still wary of Koyuan. Ancient immortal giant elephant. As soon as Zunar's attack was over, behind the peerless heavenly emperor, a towering golden giant suddenly stepped on the front, trying to cause a severe oppression on Koyuan. Go away! Koyuan roared at this, and the circles of fiery red flames turned into a wave of energy, spreading out like ripples. Peefed! With a sound, when the fiery red energy ripples spread, the golden giant behind the peerless heavenly emperor scattered directly and fell apart. The powerful blow of the 3 powerhouses did not cause any damage to Koyuan. This guy is actually a powerhouse with both ice and fire attributes. I'm afraid I'll have to rely on you next. Xiaoyan's expression suddenly changed, and he also had an idea in his heart. Brother Xiaoyan, please leave it to us. Zunar smiled sweetly, and naturally understood Xiaoyan's plan, and immediately exchanged glances with peerless heavenly emperor. The 2 turbulent attacks were on display, and Koyuan was temporarily entangled. Stand up. Xiaoyan's body quickly retreated, almost disappeared, suddenly turned into an arc of fire and faded back, and he was also thinking violently in his mind. The fusion of the 6-color holy flames will take a lot of time. Now that the battle is urgent, it is impossible to have this time. No. Dark underworld warriors belong to darkness. With the wisdom of evil and charming scholars, I'm afraid they can guess something, but it won't work. No, hurry up. Xiaoyan tried his best to think of a solution, but looking at the 2 people who were constantly being teased by Koyuan above the sky, an extreme killing intent emerged. Now I have to give it a try. I hope I can control the power of the clan marks. Otherwise, I will obliterate an 8-star Do Xian who is successful and is still a powerhouse who touches reincarnation. My trouble is very big. Xiaoyan finished, his eyes were closed, his body was burning at a high speed, and a trace of tyrannical soul power communicated with the blood of the Xiao clan deep in his body. A devastating blow to Koyuan, disintegrating the current disadvantage. Xiaoyan still doesn't quite understand the power of clan patterns. It seems that his clan patterns are different from ordinary clan patterns, but Xiaoyan is worrying is superfluous. After all, even if Xiaoyan perfectly uses the power of the clan mark, he can at most damage Koyuan, and if he directly obliterates it, it will not be fantastic, unless Xiaoyan's strength breaks through the 8 stars and cooperates with the power of the clan mark. The power of the Xiao ethnic pattern is so terrifying. However, the 8-star fighting immortal who has touched the reincarnation of Koyuan dignifiedly is complete. whether it is strength or mentality, it should not be underestimated. Boom! Above the entire square, Zuner and Peerless Heavenly Emperor fiercely attacked, but Xiao Yan sat quietly cross-legged, thinking something. It's almost there, don't let me down, otherwise the next game will be redundant. Xie Mei's scholar didn't seem to care about the situation of the battle, and he didn't intend to interfere with Xiao Yan. Ji Yuan is a test set by himself. If they can defeat Ji Yuan, they have the qualifications to play games with them. No matter what method is used, the evil scholar does not care. All he cares about is the result. After all, in his eyes, all puppets are just a chess piece. Following the battle on the square below, the 12 stone pillars on the altar were symmetrical to each other, and at the center, a chessboard stone table slowly emerged, but there was no chess piece on the chessboard stone table. Instead, it was impossible to touch it. The evil power to figure out is full of them. Genius remembers the address of this site in 1 second. Mobile version reading website.